Okay, today we're gonna be working on a speaker that was mailed in from John, and John actually mailed in 3 motherboards for the same speaker. So that's one motherboard right here, and the motherboard has the word noise on it. So the motherboard is making noise, and the speaker, he cannot listen to anything without hearing noise. And he sent another board. I cannot quite make out what he wrote on the board here, but I do see burn marks on the side of the board. And as for the third board here, he marks it with no sound. So we do not know what's going on. John wrote a lot of things on the paper. And he mentions, one board is working, which will play properly. Thought it may help analyze the problems of the non-working boards. Okay, so one of the boards are working, and he sent it in so we can see if we can figure out what's wrong with the other 2 boards. So we have a good working board to test back and forth and know what the problems are with the other boards. I mean, we have not worked on this speaker ever, so this is the first time I work on it. The board indicated as having no sound turns on and off and pairs. So it does power on, off, pairs, but there's no sound. One board will produce a loud static. It does connect, music is most likely playing, but drowned out by the static. Volume controls do not appear to work. So this board has a static noise and volume buttons do not work. We're gonna start with this board since I already have it inside the speaker. Let me power the board on. Power button is here, which is the button on the board here. So let me press and hold. And we do see the light. As you can see, the light is steady now, which indicates that there's a Bluetooth connection between the phone and the speaker. I previously connected to this board, and it was blinking before. Now that the phone is connected to it, it's steady. And I want you to hear the noise on the speaker. So it's like you're flying in an airplane or some type of waterfall. I'm gonna disconnect the board so we can look at it under the microscope and see what's going on. I'm gonna ask Big Boss to take all those cables out. Good. So let's take a look at the board. I mean, like I said, I never worked on those boards before, but we're gonna do a physical inspection. On audio boards, it's sometimes obvious where the problem is. Maybe we have a bulging capacitor, or maybe a diode is burned, or we see burn marks on one of the components.
Yeah, hi. I was calling to see if you guys would be able to fix an E63 key, Mercedes key.
What year is it?
2008.
This side of the board is good. I did not see anything obvious. There may be something going on that side, but nothing obvious while doing physical inspection. Let's check the back of the board. I'm basically looking for burn marks or something blown that's obvious to the naked eye, because most of those big boards, big components, if something blows, it shows. That rhymes. If something blows, it shows. What's this here? That doesn't look good. What's this? Flip the board. It's probably this capacitor, one of those caps. I do not see anything bulging out. So we're gonna assume that the caps are good. Okay, nothing obvious. Flip the board again. Just make sure I looked at this side thoroughly. How did we miss this? Look at this. C403. So we have a capacitor here that's totally blown off the board. And we likely have a blown resistor also. This is the 4.7 ohms resistor. So that's it. That's the problem. Meter in ohms mode, and let's test the resistor. And I'm getting 6.1 ohms, which is good. If the resistor was bad, then it would read something very high, likely in the mega ohms. Now the value of the capacitor. We do not know what the value of the capacitor is. We have one blown pad, but the good thing is this pad looks like it connects to this side of the capacitor. So we can scratch this side here to expose the copper. And we'll solder a new capacitor onto this copper here. Okay, that's enough. So what I want to do is use the donor board that the customer sent to measure the value of the capacitor, because I do not know what the value is. And the capacitor, where is it? Right over here. What's the value of this capacitor? So meter in capacitance mode. And let's measure the capacitor. And we get 16 microfarads. 16 microfarads. Okay, so I have 10 microfarads and I have 22 microfarads. Which one should we use? The 22. We do not know how 22 is going to function in this circuit, if it's going to have any effect on the noise, but we can try it. If it doesn't work, then we can take the capacitor out of the no sound board, the board with no sound, to fix this board, and we can order another one for this board here. But the first thing I want to do is try the 22 microfarad capacitor and see if that will work. Before we do so, let me prep the pads on the board. I mean, we rarely ever use capacitors with such a high value. So anything like this, we have to find it in our capacitors book, and this is size 1206 SMD components. There is a 90% chance the 22 microfarads will work just fine, but one way to find out. And this is the Amtech 559 Flux. We got a huge batch of the Flux today. If you order on our website, you will be getting the freshest Flux in the market. So let's use the 22 microfarad capacitor.
Hi, I had a question. Something, do you guys repair Microsoft Surface Pro?
Which one?
So I have the Microsoft Surface Pro 2, so there's a couple things wrong with it. One.
So let's go ahead and solder the capacitor. And I'm not going to use any hot air. I'm just going to use our soldering iron. That's one end right here. And we have to do this side also. And I think we should be good. We have to test if the capacitor is continuous with the other capacitor. So meter in continuity mode. And let's see if we have a continuous path between here and here. And we do not. So we need to make sure that capacitor is making a connection with the pad that we scratched. Let me get a smaller tip. I mean, if not, then we can just run a jumper wire and that will work. Let's see. And yes, we now have a connection. We're gonna clean up, and Big Boss is gonna reassemble and see if the speaker will work again.
بس هلا سمعت خبر انه ما بعرف اذا مزعج ولا لا، الحاكم بولايه كاليفورنيا يعلن حاله الطوارئ بعد بلوغ الاصابات بفيروس كورونا 57 اصابه. حالة الطوارئ معناتها في شيء. هذا البورد.
Big Boss is trying to figure out where each wire goes. عم نحكي بالمنيح. Okay, power it on. Oh, one more. The Bluetooth cable.
Yeah.
Okay. The noise is even louder now. We can try to use the 60 microfarad capacitor from the donor board and see if we can get that to work, because we have a board here that says no sound on it, so we can use the capacitor from that board to see if we can make this board work. Okay, so let me try the 60 microfarad capacitor, and this is the board labeled no sound. We're gonna take the capacitor from here and use it to fix this board. Let's see if that will work. We do not know the purpose of this capacitor, and it depends what the capacitor does. The value may be very important. And let's use it here. Okay, let's see if we have a good connection. And we do. So let's try again. Okay, so turn it on. Still the same problem. Still the same problem. The problem is not only a blown capacitor, but there's something else wrong with the motherboard. Let's quickly see if we can figure out what else could be wrong. I mean, this resistor here does not look good to me, but it's measuring good. This one. Let me measure it one more time. 4R7, we should be reading 4.7 ohms. Seven. I do not think we have a problem with this resistor. We could possibly have a problem with this chip since it's part of the circuit. Why don't we try to replace this chip and see? One last attempt. And let's get it from here. I'm using 370 degrees on this board. No need to use 450, 470. And let's put it right over here. No more static sound. Previously the chip on this board was making a static noise. We removed the chip from the no sound board, the board that is not working and doesn't have a sound, and we put it here, and now we do not have a sound on this one. Static is gone and we do not have a sound. It means that both chips are not good. One of them is not making any sound and one of them is creating static, so both of them are not good. One thing left to do is to remove the chip from the good known board, which is this one here. Actually this one here. And we're gonna put that chip here to see if that will work. If we remove the chip from the good board, we put it on this one and we are able to get it to work, it means the same chip will also solve the problem for the no sound board. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We're gonna remove this chip, the one that we pulled off from the no sound. And we should label it actually. Let's make no sound as 1 dot. Okay, put it on the side and let's remove the good known IC. Customer said that this board is working. I did not test it, but we're gonna assume that it's working. Let's remove it from here. And I need to look up what is PCM 1808. I do not know what this chip does. But since it's next to that blown capacitor, I had a reason to believe that this could be bad. A lot of people ask me, how come you did not test? Sometimes we do not have to test. It's more efficient to just do it rather than spend hours testing, especially when we have not worked with this board before or we do not have any circuit diagrams. And the microscope is out of focus, but I do not have a third hand to adjust it, so okay. Make sure everything is solid. And yes, everything is solid. And test this capacitor one more time to make sure it's making a connection, because after heating up the chip, maybe it lost connection. So I just want to make sure. Okay. اشتغل؟ لا. It's working. Okay, let me try something. Let me put something like some type of music. What should we play? What should we play? Let's try Michael Jackson. I want something with a beat. Look at this. It's working. Now there's more than one speaker. One of them is for the bass, the other is I do not know what. So the other board now, the one that's labeled no sound, we will be able to fix it by replacing that chip, because I think that's what's causing the problem. Awesome, awesome. I'm happy it worked, and customer's gonna be happy also. What I need to do right now is get the 16 microfarad capacitor. Wait. So Big Boss put the tiny speaker here, and now the sound is more vivid. Awesome, awesome. Big Boss is partying. Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. First time I see Big Boss dancing. That's funny. Okay. I never worked on these boards before, and we were able to fix the problem, not by measuring, but by using our head. I mean, the chip was next to the blown capacitor. So it makes sense that if the capacitor is blown to a point where it ripped the pad off the board, then the IC is probably not good. So we tried the IC from the no sound board, and we did not get a sound on the static board. So that tells me the problem is the IC. We removed the IC from the known good board, and it's working. I'm glad the customer sent us a good working board to use it for testing. Otherwise, we would not have been able to figure out what the problem was. Right now, to fix the no sound board, we need to order a 16 microfarad capacitor and a similar chip, put it back on here, and we should get this board working. Let's search for that chip just to see what it does. PCM 1808. What's PCM 1808? So the chip is a Texas Instrument analog to digital converter. Makes a lot of sense. If the chip is not working, it's gonna output junk, garbage, or it's not gonna output any sound at all. So we're gonna be ordering a few of those. I do not know when the next time we will get such a speaker to fix. I think I'll order like 5 pieces to keep them in stock, and I'll order a few of the 16 microfarads capacitors, and that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and especially Big Boss's ultimate dance. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll do something else in the next video.